all the wiring is strung loose along the side of the building and in the inside of the building. And it's a real critical need that they get that done. The windows that you see were knocked out by members of the church and redone. So everything that they want basically is for the church and for Jesus. So they are unbelievable. If you saw the first service, we have music before we have the sermon. They have music before they have the sermon, and it's 12 minutes of dancing, jumping up and down. Everybody in the audience jumping up and down, dancing. And at 83, it was difficult. Would you like to see your preacher dance for 12 minutes? He did it.
It's aerobic worship. Aerobic worship. One of the challenges of this facility too is bathrooms, and there's the next picture shows the manual, which the stall on the right is out of service. The working one is the one that you see on the inset. So all I can say is wow. And they have a grand plan to really remedy all these things. That would just be torn down and done over again. I know. Go ahead.
Thanks to your generosity, the pastor's home, it was the nicest home in the town, it had a bathroom already built when they took over the home, and they put in a toilet, no seat, but it's a toilet, and they put in a sink. However, there's no water yet, so the pastor's wife would go out and lower the bucket into the well, bring it up, bring the water in the house, and pour it into the toilet after people use the toilet.
We have a picture of the well coming up next here. Yeah, there it is. Which, not the most sanitary place to get drinking water, but this is also the source of drinking water, I understand, unless they buy purified water, which...
Same thing for the baño over at the church. It is a facility that church members can use if they needed to go to the bathroom, but you have to bring buckets of water because nothing flushes.
Among the gifts we brought, this was a suitcase that arrived later. This was a gift that had been given to me, but it was one more trumpet than I needed. This is called a pocket trumpet. So I decided to pass along this gift. And now the next picture, I'm auditioning. La Cucaracha. I was actually asked to play this for the kids in church, a little La Cucaracha. So this was my 15 minutes of fame. I aspire to be the American Arturo Sandoval, famous Cuban trumpet player. All right, that's enough of that. Next slide. This, I put this in because it shows Cuban ingenuity. You know, when you don't have a lot, you make do, and you are very creative. This fascinated all the guys anyway. Bo, tell us about this truck.
Well, the pastor's house is right there behind the truck, and you can see it in the church is right to the right. And this little farm road ran right in front of the church. And the whole time you're there, you hear different vehicles kind of coming back and forth. Most of them are horse-drawn carts, and it's kind of clickety-click. But then there were these, everything that was an internal combustion there was pretty much diesel, because diesel was cheaper and more efficient. And this little creature was going back and forth all the time, and we asked about it, and they said, oh yes, the fellow who made the engine out of a water pump. And so, you know, I kind of thought about that, and I couldn't fathom it. So the next day I said, would it be possible for me to go by and just look at this water pump driven truck? And they said, well, we'll do better than that. And they sent a guy down, and he brought it up. And sure enough, he had built it out of a water pump. It was an internal combustion engine, but I think it had one cylinder. And then he built the truck around it. He was a welder, and so there's nothing on this except the transmission, I think, that came from another vehicle. And when he would use it to go back and forth to the little farm he had down the road, and when he got to the farm, he would just drive the vehicle up, hook it up to where the water was, and they would pump the water for the farm, and then when he was done, he'd back it off. It was a hand crank. He would crank it up and drive back home. So they called these, they were so resourceful down there because they have to be. But when they didn't think of themselves as being resourceful, they thought of themselves as being inventors. So this was his invention, he called it.